Why are people not talking about sexual and gender-based violence? My name is Wangu Kanja, and welcome to My Dignity Restored. Thank you. Things that come into my mind right now is culture and tradition, socialization, the fear of retaliation by the family, by the community, and for a very long time it has been a topic of, especially sex has been a topic that people discuss behind closed doors between a man and a woman. But it needs to be a topic that is discussed by everyone and in broad daylight, so that we are able to address the things that are happening in the community. And the reason why I asked that question, why are not people talking about sexual and gender-based violence? It's because we need to trigger, we need to start having that conversation. We need to speak against any forms of sexual and gender-based violence, regardless of the culture, the tradition, the socialization, because that's the one of the ways that we are going to create an environment for people to be able to speak freely and people to address some of the emerging issues, whether it's in the family unit or the community or even in the country. And looking at when I was growing up, or when we are in a group of either girls or in a group that has mixture of both men and women, when the topic of sex comes up, everyone wants to either scatter or go under the table because everyone feels uncomfortable. But I don't think sex by itself, the way it was created by God, is supposed to be a topic that people fear. People fear or cannot talk about or discuss about it. For me, it's an important topic, and people need to create a safe environment for people to discuss, because it's not a bad thing. And by so doing, then we are able to discuss about what it is, what the reason why it was created in the initial stages of a human's life. And for me, we need, as adults, we need to have that discussion so that we are able to even talk to our children, tell them what is a good touch, a bad touch, who should touch them, and if the people who are listed as people who can touch them, not the ones who are touching them, then they need to talk to their parents about it, to talk to their teachers about it, to talk about the whole issue without them being condemned or them being afraid that they are going to be reprimanded. Because most of the time what happens is when a child comes to a parent and they tell them, we have so many uncles, so uncle so and so touched me in this way, then the parent would be like, he's an adult, he cannot be doing that to you. We need to believe that child, and we need to listen to them, because it starts with one small touch, and then the person weighs whether the child is becoming friendly, or the child is trusting that person. So it will escalate eventually. With that one small touch, it will escalate to a child being defiled, or the person actually having carnal knowledge of that child. So we need to speak about it. We need to do away with the whole thing of culture and tradition. There are those practices that are good, and there are those practices that are bad, but we need to do away with them. And looking at the bigger community, we need to start the conversation at the family unit. What are the parents telling their children about sex, sexuality, and sexual violence? So are we leaving our responsibilities to house helps, relatives, or are we going to take that responsibility and talk to our children? Because if we don't, then they will get the information from the wrong people. And once they do that, then that by itself makes the child or even other people vulnerable to being violated, because the person they trusted most was not willing to share with them the information. So you need to start speaking against sexual and gender-based violence, but we also need to start a conversation on sex, sexuality, and sexual violence. So my call to you for action is speak against any form of sexual and gender-based violence, but also speak so that we can share information with family, friends, relatives, and the community in general on sexual and gender-based violence, but more so to prevent any form of sexual and gender-based violence happening in our society. And please don't forget to like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and don't forget to subscribe.